Hello, my name is Keisha Orr, and for over a decade, I worked on Wall Street. It was my claim to fame, my mama, I made it moment. I felt like I was doing it for all the black girls in the hood, but mostly for the little black girls I was raising, my smart, beautiful, and gifted daughters. The job on Wall Street allowed me to send my children to private school, to take them on trips, and to provide for them without the financial burden that I had known for far too long. When I first got the job, I remember that I made a commitment that we'd travel a lot. That's because I was 27 years old when I boarded a plane for the first time. It was an international trip to Europe, and it was divine. I knew immediately that I wanted my children to see the world through travel. Now, their first trip wasn't international. It was to Disney. Every word they spoke and every breath they took and every sight they saw had them bustling with joy, bubbling with excitement. They ate a frozen treat called Itza-Kadoozie and pretended to speak with a proper British accent. They do it far better than I. As they engaged in the mini Disney characters and watched the shows, I was gratified to see them so happy and that I was able to provide for them that opportunity. Now, you may be thinking, Keisha, what's the big deal? You got a job, you moved up the corporate ladder. Well, before I got that job, I was on welfare. And my journey for getting off of welfare was about breaking a generational cycle. My mother and grandmother had both been on welfare. And I wanted to create a legacy that was rooted in intergenerational wealth. I had been the first in my immediate family to earn a six-figure salary. Back in my Wall Street heyday, I met my now ex-husband, gave birth to my youngest daughter, bought a home and a car. My coworkers were like my extended family. That's until I got a call from the Human Resources Office that said that my services were no longer needed. It was the very department that I worked for. Basically, you're fired. To say that I was angry and hurt and disappointed would be a gross understatement. I was filled with shame, guilt, and fear. You have to hear me when I say that everything that I was and everything that I had become was wrapped up in that job. As a child born to addicted parents and growing up in dysfunction, all that I was and all that I had become was about that job. It was how I began to define myself. And so now what? What about the legacy? Will my children still be proud of me? Who am I in absence of the money, the perks, and the accolades? I didn't know. And I had to sit with the not knowing. And that started me on a spiritual journey of prayer and meditation. And what was revealed to me was so simple, yet life-altering. The message was that I could just bloom right from where I was. I knew that I could create a new story, a new narrative, a new legacy. And so, at first, I needed to let go of the pain and the hurt that I had been holding on to. I knew that I wanted my children to be able to see me, and I wanted to live fully expressed because I was creating a new narrative and a new legacy, and it looked like me walking a little taller, being more confident. I took myself on dates and had long baths, and the blossoming occurred, and my creative juices began to flow. I wrote and co-produced a play and made a hip-hop CD, because after all, I was raising warrior women. And it wasn't enough for this woman, for this mother, to say that I was a warrior woman. I needed to demonstrate that. I started mentoring teens and adults. The new legacy was about me pouring into myself, taking care of myself, and honoring myself. I could no longer hide behind the job because, after all, it wasn't there. And I knew that I could not attach my worth to what was or wasn't in my bank account. And for that, I am grateful. So very grateful for the mountain of evidence that I have collected, indicating that no matter where I am or when I start, it is never too late to just bloom.